Well, it's official. Mark Carney has won the Liberal leadership race with 85% of the vote, officially making him the next Prime Minister of Canada, temporarily at least. And then he had a speech. I'm going to play a little clip here from Mark Nixon. He said, Mark Carney's first speech starts with Pierre Poilievre, "We'll let the planet burn," followed by word salad. Luckily, this will be the shortest sitting Prime Minister in Canadian history. Well, we hope anyway. But let's take a look at what he's got to say, and we'll talk about it after.
Poilievre would let our planet burn. This is not leadership. It's ideology. It's ideology that betrays what we as Canadians value, each other. It's an ideology that also represents a fundamental misunderstanding of how the economy works. Now, unlike Pierre Poilievre, I've actually worked in the private sector. I know.
Oh, sick burn.
I know.
By the way, just one thing on that. He's worked in the private sector. He's a businessman. Shareholders in many companies. He's old. He's rich. And he's white. You know who that sounds like? Donald Trump. So I guess the Liberals should start running ads around the clock now about how their leader is just like Donald Trump, right? Just like they did to Pierre Poilievre. Huh. Interesting how they say they hate Donald Trump, but they voted in someone who's kind of like him, didn't they? Very interesting.
I know how the world works, and I know how it can be made to work better for all of us. And that knowledge is especially useful now in the service of Canadians when we must build a new economy and create new trading relationships. Let me tell you something else that we know that Pierre Poilievre doesn't. We know that markets don't have values. People do. And
what does that even mean?
We know as Liberals that it's our job to make markets, to make the economy work for all Canadians. These are the most powerful tool we've ever invented. They can find solutions to our greatest problems. And when the private sector, when the markets are governed well, they deliver great jobs and stronger growth faster than anything. But markets are also indifferent to human suffering, and they are blind to our greatest needs. So when they're not governed well, or not at all, they will deliver enormous wealth for the lucky few and hard times for the rest.
You mean like what's been going on in the past 10 years? Especially during COVID? The very small percentage of people who have a lot of money got way more rich during COVID. This guy was the economic advisor of Justin Trudeau for years. So for him to say that, it's insane. And people are going to eat it up. It's like every day I hear the him talk and I see people applauding it, shaking his hand. Oh, he's different. He's not he's an outsider. He's worked in the private sector. Just like Trump. Trump worked in the private sector for years, decades. Interesting.
Rest. And in this crisis, we must help those who are hit hardest by the American tariffs while we build our strength here at home. That's the right thing to do. That's the fair thing to do. That is the Canadian thing to do. That is what makes us strong.
Way to sound like a robot. Anyway, so he's really upset, just like a lot of these dumb Liberal Canadians are really upset at the tariffs placed by Donald Trump. Well, I got some news for you guys, and this is actually put out yesterday. China has now put on tariffs on us. From Beijing, China has announced retaliatory tariffs on some Canadian farm and food imports after Canada imposed duties on Chinese-made electric vehicles and steel and aluminum products in October. The new duties become effective March 20th. According to a statement by the Customs Tariff Commission of the State Council, additional 100% tariffs will be imposed on Canadian, I think they meant to say grapeseed oil. That's a that's a rough typo. Oil cakes and peas, and additional 25% tariffs will apply to pork and aquatic products. Well, there you go, Canada. Are you going to take all Chinese products off the shelf? Are you going to start a trade war and continue a trade war with China and say how evil they are and they're trying to destroy our economy? They're doing what Trump's doing, so you should be mad at them too, right? But they're not. They're only mad when Trump does it. That's because they have TDS, known as Trump Derangement Syndrome. Not one person who I know who has complained about Donald Trump has said one word about Xi Jinping. They probably don't even know who that is. It's again and again, I'm going to say this, but there's a lot of Canadians out there who are just very silly and unserious. And they're eating up all these words from Mark Carney. And they're not upset at China for putting tariffs on us, but they're upset with Trump. Well, it's because these tariffs are retaliatory. Okay. Why are we pissing off world leaders? None of them like us, which is probably not a good sign. Not saying Russia's good. They don't like us. China doesn't like us. India doesn't like us. In the United States, they don't like us either. The trade wars are getting more intense. Now, the conservatives in this country have not been in power for 10 years. So, Mark Carney, who are you really upset with here? Should you be upset with yourself for being an economic advisor who's helped create this mess for the past 5 years? No, it's going to blame Pierre Poilievre because he's never had a job in the private sector. Yeah, you're right, because he's not a globalist. He's not a part of the WEF either, Mark. It's just such a joke. And, I mean, listen, for all the people out there thinking about voting for Mark Carney, if you want Canada to be broken up, if you want Alberta to secede, which would be the most likely province to do so, keep voting Liberals and supporting guys like this. Keep pissing off Alberta, guys. Right now, there is not a big enough appetite, even in Alberta, to secede. But over the next 3 to 5 years, if the Liberals keep winning and pissing off Alberta, the number is going to grow. And then there's going to be people from other provinces who are like-minded with these Albertans, and they're going to start moving there. Then the number's going to go up. Could it reach 50%? Sure, it could. And if there's a vote to secede and they join the United States, we lose the biggest source of energy we have. And then Saskatchewan probably leaves too. Then we lose our breadbasket. But it's Pierre Poilievre who apparently is the threat of this. No, again, like usual, whatever a liberal says, the opposite is true. I mean, these people are insane. And anyone even thinking about voting for this guy is insane. I understand Pierre Poilievre. People are frustrated with him too. But he's a way better option, just by default. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the tariffs from China? What do you think about Mark Carney? Please don't be shy. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Please also don't be shy, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, as it really helps this channel grow. We're almost at 7,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate every single one of you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.